Well, it's so nice to be here and to meet you finally for the interview. I'm so excited.
Me too.
Yes. And
Have you been here before?
well, no, I have never been here before.
No?
I've heard lots of places about this spot, but no. Why are we here today?
We are here to record our interview. This is the pool.
Yeah.
This is the probably coolest co-working space in Marbella. And it's fairly new. This used to be, look at this beautiful ceiling. This used to be part of shopping mall, actually. And it was converted about 2 years ago. And it's been a massive success. It's a lot of tech entrepreneurs, a lot of IT and startups. And, it's become really a big business hub in Marbella, which is something we never had before. So it's very exciting to be here. And I don't, I am out most of the time in this business. So I didn't really need a permanent office, but you do need somewhere to work and to have meetings, and there's no better place than this. So.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Here is the common area, no? And what do
they do events
here?
Yeah, no, they do events. We had some really interesting guest speakers, and it's a cool place.
Okay, nice. And how long have you been a part of this community at the pool?
Around a year, I think. Well, I officially joined, I think, a few months ago, but I've been coming to the events, and they joke that I'm never here but the thing is, of course, you're always out and running around, so I don't use it as much as I should.
And have you made some friends here, some connections?
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, it's a fantastic networking place.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
It's very important to have something like this in Marbella because it's very international, and it's really important to just come to some place. And
yeah. And it really shows how much Marbella has changed because, I remember 10 years ago, there were no business people here other than estate agents and maybe lawyers, It was like most people who came here were retired. And now there's so many people coming here to live and work remotely, and, it's exciting.
Yeah, okay. Let's go.
Let's.
I've heard lots of things about you. Well, we actually met before, so it was a pleasure to speak with you and to get to know your personality a little bit more. So today I would like to speak with you about your, I think, main job, your main industry where you are now is real estate agency in Marbella. So how long ago have you actually founded this agency?
Well, I founded the actual company, the SL, it's official, almost to the day 3 years ago. But I've been in real estate for, that's a good question. I think I've been in real estate for 12 years, 13 years. I lost count. And I had my own company before. Then I worked for some big companies. Then I decided to leave altogether. Then I came back. And now I have my own.
And what is the story behind this, you being ended up in real estate? How was it? How did that happen?
I sort of slipped into it. In fact, I do remember it actually started, and I think I know a few stories of people like that who ended up in real estate because they were clients. They were looking for something and they were disappointed with the service they received. And, there's this, I think a lot of us have this slightly arrogant reaction that we think, oh, we can do that better. So, and I was talking about it with some friends, and they said, well, you've lived here all your life. You really know the place. Why don't you do it? So I thought, okay, I'll do it. That was in the middle of the financial crisis, so that was maybe not the best idea, but it was good to start. In looking back, it was, I think, a good idea to start when conditions were really difficult.
And well, Marbella is a place known for real estate, there are lots of agencies, and well, I would say they have their own, of course, uniqueness and perspectives, but in any case, there are many of them. Why do you think Marbella is the center of such industry? Why is everyone here?
Well, I'm just looking behind you, and there's beautiful blue skies and beautiful tropical gardens. I think that's part of it's always been a magnet, hasn't it, for people from all over Europe and beyond. And obviously, when the place is the product, then obviously real estate is a big factor. But it's interesting how it's gone through very different phases. So we were talking just earlier, back, I would say, when I started, the majority of people who were coming here were retired. I would say the average age of buyers, inquiries we got was around 60 probably. So there wasn't actually a business community other than hospitality and real estate, which is, what keeps this place going. But since COVID, that has changed completely. And that's what really, the market was going up before, but since COVID, it just exploded to a degree which I think took everybody by surprise. And, it's still, we're now 4 years in from that, and it's still going strong. I just saw numbers from year on year, from last July, transactions in Spain were up by over 20%. It's incredible.
Wow. And is this because there are more, not only elderly people are coming to Marbella, isn't it? And
No. Most people now, I'm starting to feel elderly because some of the clients are younger than me. It's a lot of tech entrepreneurs. It's people who had a startup and cashed in, now they have, or they just have a business that's running very well, and now they can, now everything's on digital meetings. You can work from anywhere. So while your company is still in Sweden or Germany or wherever, America, now we get a lot of Americans coming even. And whenever we have 150 nationalities officially in Marbella. So you can imagine whenever one market goes down, another market goes up. So it's really a magnet for a lot of, but especially business people, it's true. And the interesting thing is obviously they are young and they want to do business here also. And that is it's already changing the coast a lot. We have big tech companies like Google and Oracle in Malaga. So the whole coast is really benefiting from that.
That's right. That's why, because of this technical park that is in Malaga, lots of digital nomads are coming.
Yeah.
And that's right. I think Malaga and Marbella has a very big perspective, to grow more and more. And now there are direct flights from New York coming, that's why maybe another reason.
We're now the third busiest airport in Spain, I think, after Madrid and Barcelona.
Definitely.
That's big. And that's one of the reasons why Marbella is so popular also. It's easily reached. If you compare it with other resorts in the Mediterranean, let's say, there is a reason why Marbella is so popular. Well, I would say there's 2 or 3. One is that it just offers a lot more in terms of surroundings than other places. You go to Mallorca, for example, it's very, very beautiful in summer, but it's very seasonal, and you're on an island, right? Whereas here you have 2 hours away, you're in Granada. In winter you can be skiing in the morning and sunbathing in the evening. And you can go to Sevilla, you can go to Tarifa, you can go to Cádiz, there's so much, all like a 2-hour drive away. There are not many places in Europe that have that. And then if you compare it to other resorts like in south of France or Italy, there is one thing that especially these younger buyers like, and that's that here we have a lot of modern and more contemporary properties, and they're looking a little bit more for this Miami feel, and we have that, whereas in other places it's much more traditional. So there's a lot of reasons I think why people love coming here, and it's very well connected with flights.
Yeah, that's right. That's definitely right. And I want to come back again to your company, to real estate. Okay, well, nowadays there are lots of people who want to end up being a real estate agent. Okay, so based on your experience, based on as you are like the founder of one of the agencies, what do you think is the most important qualities and skills to become a successful agent?
Qualities and skills. Oh, I think more than anything, okay, there's one thing that I think you need, especially in a place like this where everybody comes from elsewhere, you need local knowledge. So I think you need to have lived here for a while. Even if you're a fast learner, I think the biggest value that you can give your client is actually to be their guide, to be able to tell them where is the best area for them to live according to what they're looking for, and where their children could go to school, which restaurant should they go to, you need local knowledge. Apart from that, I think people always think it's sales, but actually I sometimes find people who have a sales background, even it might be an obstacle, because you're not really selling to someone. You need to get to know them on a personal level and become partners. That's really that's the best way of you want to be in a partnership together in this. So I think you need people skills. You need a certain level of empathy and be able to get into somebody's skin a little bit and really make their dream yours and go there together. So yeah, people skills, communication skills.
Well, actually, it's really interesting because once you gave a TEDx talk about emotional triggers. Do you apply these emotional triggers in your daily work as a real estate agent?
I try. I mean, the talk came out of my experience from real estate, because I realized at some point that, we all like to think that we're rational people and that we take decisions rationally, and especially, people with a lot of money and business people, they like to think that about themselves. I'm rational. I take a rational decision. No, you don't. I found the longer I observed this, I found that it was always what ultimately triggered them to take a decision, especially, a holiday home that is already, if you think about it, it's probably irrational to buy it in the first place, but you want it, right? So from that on, it's actually purely emotional, but you need to understand what is the trigger for that person. What is their dream? What is their vision when they first start looking? And that can change, obviously, in the course of their search. There's this awful saying, buyers are liars. Agents like to use it about clients because they change their minds. But I hate it, because it's really not true. It's people's, what they thought they wanted and what they end up actually wanting and getting often is very different. But it's the emotional trigger. I try to remind myself, because it changes the way you communicate and changes your focus. Do I always do it? Well, I try. But it's understanding what people. I use this silly quote from there's this wonderful series, Lucifer, and he's the devil, and he asks questions. He has this superpower. He can look at you and say, "What do you desire?" And it hypnotizes you, and you tell him whatever you really, really want. And I remember the first time I watched it, I thought, if only I could do that, it would make my life so easy. And it got me thinking about actually the concept of desire, the word, it's because that is what drives us in anything, what we want. And the tricky thing is often we even are not aware of what it is. So it's a process of finding it. And you don't get there by asking, how many bedrooms do you need? How many bathrooms do you need? Most people don't realize how many square meters. That's my favorite. How many square meters? I've heard a lot of agents ask this question. So how many square meters do you need? If you get an American, he says, what are square meters?
Yeah, that's right. There are some famous TV shows, like Selling Sunset, $1 Million, TV show about real estate. What do you think? Do they really represent the reality of it?
Little bit. There was some more than others. I remember this one, what was it? The one from New York. Well, it was $1 Million Listings in New York. Whenever they show how they do deals, I thought they really came close in many ways to, how the negotiation goes and how the agents are, not fighting, but arguing, like who gets the deal and so on. That's pretty realistic. But then, of course, you get all the drama, all the office gossip and all that. I mean, that's all very staged. And I've seen drama, but it's a lot more fun than what you see on TV. If anything, I think reality is a lot more unreal in a way and a lot more interesting. One day, somebody should do a proper TV series about what really goes on. It would be much more fun.
And is there anything crazy that we should know about, like about the real estate? Is there something funny that happened to you during the deal?
Oh, something funny happens every time, every viewing, every visit. There's something that goes wrong, there's always something goes wrong, and it's always, the good thing is if you don't let it stress you, if you take it as funny, then you can laugh with the client about it. But there are crazy things that happen all the time, and especially here, if we're dealing with especially in the high end, you're dealing with big money and also big egos sometimes, and a lot of crazy things can happen.
And what is the biggest deal that you have done during the past?
That's confidential.
Confidential, yes?
No, it's but I did get a few years ago, I started getting more into the like Zagaleta, Madronial area. Was for a while was the one I specialized in. So there, obviously, you're moving in the 5, 6, 10 million range. But even for some reason, when I started I was a big company, and I was a rookie basically. And the first deal I did was, for that time, it was big because we still didn't have like very large numbers. It ended up being just under 3 million. And that was probably also the craziest situation I have ever been in. It went on for 6 months without a reservation contract. I'm still amazed. Like, the thing is, when you're new, you don't worry as much about, you don't see all the things that could go wrong, or maybe you do. I say, let's just do it anyway. I think now I probably couldn't do it. I just went on with it, and I had to tell my manager some stories because, why it wasn't signed and why this was. And then I think about 3 months in, they came for a second viewing. They'd only seen it for 15 minutes the first time. And I mean, they made an offer, and then all kinds of things. The property was partly illegal and all kinds of, Marbella things. And still somehow we were there. And we come to the property with a big group of people. There was an architect, 2 architects, 2 lawyers, about 15 people were all coming in. It's a duplex. And up on the roof terrace was the owner. And he'd built the whole complex. And he was standing there with a huge cigar. And when he saw us, he started screaming at us. And I'm not sure I can use the language here on the video in Spanish. But it was basically, get out of my house. And I had to translate, and they were asking me, what is he saying? And I had to make up something on the spot, I couldn't tell him what they were saying. And they were like, oh, no, we're signing. It was absolutely surreal. So yeah, a lot of crazy things can happen.
Yeah, that's right. Well, is there something that you would say the most challenging part of this job? As you said, you never know, how the deal is gonna go. So is it a big challenge for you, or is there something else?
It depends. Each situation is different. And it doesn't necessarily depend on the amount of money involved. I would say, on the contrary, sometimes the small deals are the toughest, because someone who's buying a 5 million euro house as a second home is in a different situation to someone who's buying a 200,000 apartment with a mortgage, right? So there's really their life savings going in there. But I would say that there are 2 big challenges I think everybody faces here. One is legal issues and how they're being handled, and you're really at the mercy sometimes of whoever is the lawyer of the other side. That can be a challenge. And I think the other one is egos. It really is. Often, issues could be quite simply resolved, but it gets to a point where people just, it's more about the principle and about how they feel, how they've been treated. It's not about the money. It's not about the issue itself. So the issue could be resolved very easily, but you have the egos in the way. And that's, if you think about it, why are we even necessary? Who needs estate agents? You should be able these days to just go online, find a house. And some people do. But still, you end up with so many difficulties on the way. You need somebody to moderate things and to make it easier.
Now I want to really speak about your public speaking skills, about your experience in that. As I know, and this is the first place where I saw you, was in ToastMasters.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes.
And I would like to start with that, because this is a very interesting community in Marbella that, I don't know, you organized it or you're...
No, it was already there when I joined it, but I've been there for a very long time. Yeah, we just had our 20th anniversary as a club. And actually ToastMasters as an organization worldwide just had its 100th anniversary.
So it's an organization, yes. Worldwide.
Yes. It's, what do you call it? It's organized in clubs, so it's local clubs that carry the organization. There are about 15,000 of them, I guess, all over the world. It started in America around 100 years ago. And grew from there and became a huge international thing. And they just had the international convention. It's always in August, usually in America. And they do something called the World Championship of Public Speaking.
Okay.
So, and it's fun because it starts at club level. So you have your contest at the club. So against your, club has like 20, 25 members maybe. So you compete against your fellow members there. The winner goes to the next level, which is usually like regional or local. Then you go to the next level and the next level, and then it's like you get to an international level, and there they go into region quarterfinals. It's like it's a huge. So 30,000 people every year participate in it, and it ends up being 8 finalists, and whoever wins it is the world champion of public speaking.
Oh,
it's
wow.
great fun. Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. And well, you said you participate there for a long time already, yes? And how was it so far? Well, this club, this community is for public speaking, yes, and for people who desire to improve their skills, you know, of self-presenting and everything. So what do you do in that club?
You speak. The idea of ToastMasters, actually the founder was a teacher. And what he found was that his students were all very, very intelligent and very well, you know, well educated, but they struggled to communicate their ideas, and they were shy to raise their hand and speak. And at some point he thought, we practice everything. You can practice playing a musical instrument, sports, anything we practice, but we don't practice speaking. We don't practice standing up in front of an audience. So he started a group where people could do that. And the principles basically remain the same. You have a manual you work from, you get some projects which build specific skills. It all starts, just with getting up there and talking, but then you'd learn how to structure a speech, how to use body language, how to use vocal variety, all those things. And you do it in front of your fellow members who are all doing the same thing, and you evaluate each other, and you learn by doing, you learn through the feedback you get from others, and you also learn by giving feedback, which is crucial. And you have all kinds of exercises. We have somebody who counts filler words, so you don't say all the time, and how to stay on time, which I struggle with a lot, and all those, all the aspects of, it's like a laboratory, but for me, honestly, it's more like a theater. It has a lot of improv elements as well, and it's like it's my weekly dose of theater and fun, and keep the brain going.
Well, do you think that this club is for everyone, or for, like, anyone can participate, anyone can develop these skills?
Oh, it's absolutely for everybody. I mean, I would recommend it especially to young people who are at the start of their careers or whatever, because that will totally change the way you do whatever you do. It's not just about public speaking. I think the 2 biggest benefits you get out of it is, one is obviously confidence. If you've stood in front of an audience of 20 people, 50 people, it doesn't matter. In fact, it gets easier with big numbers. The scariest audience is one of 5 or 6, because you see all the eyes on you. You've done that. You feel like you can take on almost anything. But it gives you the difference between talking face to face and talking to an audience. There's actually very little difference. It's in our minds. But what you realize when all eyes are on you is that you need to structure your thoughts in some way. And once you start thinking about that, you at some point start also thinking about structuring your thoughts when you're talking face to face. You start thinking about it when you write an email. What's the best way of getting from A to B? Every speech is a journey, right? And at the end of the speech, you want something to change in the person who's listening to you. Something in their mind, in their mindset, in their opinion, like something needs to change in those 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever you have. So the question for you is, where do I want to go? Where do I want to, I want to take these people with me. Where is the destination? But then I also need to understand, where are they now, so that I can take them from one place to another. And that's, once you start internalizing that, it's something that's very, very useful. And obviously, confidence to express yourself, and not, if you're in a meeting and everybody is sitting there and not saying anything, and you're the one who says, I have a question, you stand out, and you will be noticed. And so I would say it's especially if you're at the start of your career or business life, it's definitely, I would recommend it to anybody.
Well, you said that there is a little difference between speaking to one person or speaking to the audience, but it's really easy to say, but in reality, it's hard, it's challenging. A lot of people are struggling from this public like the lack of public speaking skills.
Oh, yeah.
And what do you think should be the first top things that you should do and you should realize before speaking, because it's really important nowadays. You know, people are anxious. They start like sweating and that everything. You know.
Oh yeah.
But what should?
Okay, the first thing you should realize is that this is normal, and not just normal. It's good. There's a wonderful saying in I don't know if it comes from ToastMasters or from somewhere else, but well, there are two sayings I love. One is, you have the butterfly. You don't lose the butterflies in your stomach. You make them fly in formation. So it's not about losing the nerves. It's about controlling the nerves and using them to your advantage. You know, all the greatest actors, especially stage actors, theater actors, they're like this every single time they go on stage. They have this, and they most of them, they've said, we can only perform really well when we have that adrenaline kick before. The moment you are no longer nervous, your performance is not going to be good. So nerves is actually a good thing, but obviously they should not overwhelm you. When it gets to the point, when I did the TEDx, I remember just the 2 minutes before, I was standing there waiting to be introduced. My legs were really like jelly, and my heart was somewhere up here. And I could not remember anything about the speech anymore. I could remember my first line, that was it. And I thought, okay, if I get the first line, maybe I can remember the rest. And I cannot even remember how I got up on the stage. I stood there, and then autopilot kicked in. And 3 minutes in, I'm realizing that I'm thinking about something different. I'm not even thinking about the speech. The speech is just running. It's incredible. But obviously, their experience helps if you've done it before. So one thing is realizing that being nervous is part of the job. There's another saying that I love, and it's from the founder of ToastMasters. The unprepared speaker has a right to be afraid. So in other words, the more you prepare, the less scared and nervous you will be, because you know how to deal with things, you know. And ultimately, the only thing that can really help you is to practice. And that's why ToastMasters is a great invention, because you can practice in a safe place where, you know, it's safe to fail. It's, in fact, the more you fail, the better you'll do, because you'll learn how to deal with it. You know, if you think about it, small children are never scared to speak. They all want to perform. You know, you watch a bunch of 5-year-olds, they all want to perform. But then they learn to be afraid, because they realize that there's consequences to their performance. And if they don't perform well, then they might be punished or whatever. So we learn to get very scared. And it's really about getting back to that childlike state where you don't care.
Percy, you are from Germany, right?
Originally. Well, I'm half Spanish also.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And do you live in Marbella your whole life?
Almost, yeah.
Okay.
Spent part of my childhood between Germany, Austria. I was born in Vienna. But then we came back here when I was 6, I think. But
what year was that?
92.
92, okay. So you're here more or less from 92, right?
But I'd been here before also.
Okay.
And no, my father came down in the 60s, I think 65 or 66 for the first time. And, you know, that was when Marbella just started with the Marbella Club. And I don't know how he discovered it, but yeah, he fell in love with it. And when it started around that time, it was still very small. Marbella was a village, you know, and the Marbella Club was basically almost a private home at that point, when you would meet, you know, you'd go down to the pool and you'd bump into people like Audrey Hepburn or someone. You know, it was very, very different.
You've been in Marbella for quite a long time now, and as you know, Forbes has named Marbella as the best European destination this year. So what do you think about this statement? Do you think Marbella deserves to be called the best city in Europe?
I think so. I mean, just look around. We have the weather, we have the climate, it has grown a lot. I mean, as you said, I mean, well, I only caught the tail end of, let's say, old Marbella, but it was very different. It was small and it had its charm in a different way. But yeah, I mean, now it's they say the California of Europe. I think that's true.
Yes.
I think that's really true. And, you know, it offers a variety of lifestyles. We always say it offers a lifestyle, but it actually offers great variety. I mean, you can live the very glitzy lifestyle, obviously, but you can also live perfectly, you know, down to earth. Most people that I know, I mean, if you live here, it's different maybe from if you're visiting. And you know, we live in maybe nicer homes than we would somewhere else, and with nicer weather. But you know, we go to the little Spanish restaurants and tapas and so on, and you know, it doesn't have to be all the glitz and glamour. But the beauty of it is you can have it all. You know, so it offers great variety.
That's right. Well, Marbella is a really good destination for both elderly people and young people. Now there are lots of digital nomads, lots of entrepreneurs coming from different countries. And Marbella, well, as a real estate agent, I think you know better, you know, that Marbella offers everything. It offers from luxury lifestyle to normal life, you know, like regular life.
And, you know, it is something that maybe there was a time when it could be a little bit boring, especially off-season, because the permanent population was largely retired and all they did was play golf. Nothing against golf, but if that's the only thing you do, you know, there was something missing here. And now it's true. I mean, even in the real estate business, when I started, I mean, I was the only sort of young person in the business that I knew, you know. And now it's now I feel almost like a senior, because there are so many young people coming into this, and obviously attracted also by the technology has changed it also, you know. It's like social media, everything. It has just, you mentioned digital nomads. That's something that didn't exist 5, 6, 7 years ago, at least not here.
Yeah, that's right. That's
exciting.
Yeah, it is. Marbella is an exciting place to be, I
Definitely.
think. What would you say is the best and the worst thing about living in Marbella?
I think the best is, well, starting with it's just the lifestyle. The weather, the food, the people, everything you can. I mean, the lifestyle you can have here is as relaxed or as active as you want it to be. So I think that's the best. The worst, I would say, we do have a lack of infrastructure in terms of public transport, for example. I think it would help. The roads in summer can get quite busy. And personally, I would love to see a little bit more culture.
Yeah, because Marbella, because of this international community, I think it lost its own charm, you know. It lost, well, sometimes we even say, you know, I'm in Marbella, but it's not Spain, you know, because
definitely. I'm half Spanish, and I would say Spanish is my third language. It's the one I speak the least.
Yeah.
It has lost a little bit that character that it had, the very Spanish character. It's still there, but I think we need to be mindful now to preserve it, to not make it so international that it's just another place, you know. So I think that's important, and I think it's something that, you know, whoever is in charge needs to look at, that we don't overdo tourism and overdo, you know, that it becomes a victim of its own success.
I want to finish our interview with the quick fire questions about yourself, okay? Firstly, house or apartment?
Apartment for now. In the future, maybe house.
Okay. Big city life or village vibe?
Big city.
Beach or mountains?
Both. That's why I'm here.
Sea or swimming pool?
I'll be boring and say swimming pool.
Okay. Summer or winter?
Autumn.
Okay, that wasn't an option, but okay, I take that.
My favorite. Well, both.
Okay. Marbella or Malaga?
Marbella. Malaga for a day trip.
Okay, okay. Historical center or modern city center?
Historical.
And finally, yes, tell me.
Well, it depends where you are. I mean, if you're in cities like Bangkok or Singapore or something, I mean, that's so exciting, this modern skyscraper life. You know, I like it also. But in Europe, we're very lucky with our old cities.
That's right. And finally, active weekend or relaxing weekend?
Somehow I always try to have active weekends and they end up being relaxing. Or when I try to have a relaxing weekend, it's active. So both.
Okay.
Both. Mix it up.
Nice. Well, it was really nice to have an interview with you. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I would like to remind you to subscribe and like this video, as any interactions are super valuable for our channel to grow. If you want to be the next guest in our show on inspiring people on Costa del Sol, then leave a message below.